It's Tuesday, April 1st.
If I see it like anywhere in the 130s, I'll probably fill a full tank like every time, just because I know like it could jump back up to 150.
It's not a joke. Drivers across much of the country are seeing a big drop at the pumps this morning with the consumer carbon tax gone.
Tell us what you actually do when you're vetting a candidate.
Stepping aside, hours after Liberal leader Mark Carney said he won't be dropped, Paul Chang said he's not running for re-election after backlash over controversial comments.
You can take steps to try to prevent this stuff from happening. Unfortunately, sometimes it does happen.
Hockey night turns into fight night in Miramichi. Fines and suspensions are likely coming and arrests still possible as police investigate fights on and off the ice. And what's next for Hooters? The restaurant chain has now filed for bankruptcy, but its owners say they don't intend to close. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
Morning, I'm Kelsey McEwen. Sorry, I was
Are
thrown.
you?
I don't know.
That was a question mark at the end of that.
Happy April Fool.
Well, because it said rabbit, rabbit, and you didn't say it.
It did say that?
It
Yeah,
did say it. It literally said in the prompter.
Wait, rabbit rabbit only works if it's the first words you say.
That's true, which
But
it was.
But you still do this at the first of every month. You still say rabbit,
I was going to
rabbit.
say it. I didn't realize it was in the... I'm like a robot. I'm like, I'm Lindsay. That's what that's our... Like, I didn't know that was in the prompter.
Autopilot.
Anyway, for those that don't know, rabbit, rabbit, I mean, I say it all the time, but rabbit, rabbit is something that every month, the first of the month, it has to be the first words out of your mouth, and then you will have luck for the rest of your month.
How's that going?
It's only April
the first. And I did say it.
Perfect.
And it's a weird thing. Because it has to be the first words, which is very difficult to do. I get probably 8 out of the 12 months.
Good for you.
It's a lot of luck.
Pardon? Did you do it?
It's a lot of luck.
Do you ever
I
do
do
it?
it sometimes.
Okay, when you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, rabbit, rabbit. All right, let's jump into news. Some developing news to let you know about this morning. Liberal candidate Paul Chang now says he will not be running for re-election. He is dropping out after the backlash to comments he made about a former Conservative rival suggesting he be turned into the Chinese consulate to collect a bounty.
You can say you have a vetting process, but saying it doesn't mean you have a good one. What goes behind that? What goes into that?
Chang made the comment in a Chinese language newspaper in January. He has since apologized to Conservative candidate Joe Tay. In a statement released late last night, Chang says this, quote, "I do not want there to be distractions in this critical moment. That's why I'm standing aside as our 2025 candidate in our community of Markham Unionville." Before Chang's decision to step aside, Liberal leader Mark Carney said he would not be dropping him as a candidate, even though he called Chang's comment, quote, deeply offensive. So if you drive a gas or diesel-powered car, you are in for a treat at the pumps this morning. The consumer carbon tax is gone.
Anything above that, say, delivery vans or trucks or things like that, which might use 100, maybe 150 a week, the savings will be astounding.
So depending on where you live, analysts say consumers should see a drop in gas costs of 15 to 16 cents per liter. It's not just gasoline, the carbon tax on diesel, aviation fuel, propane, and natural gas gone as well. Diesel users could see a drop of 20 cents per liter. These savings won't necessarily be seen in Quebec, though, which has its own cap and trade system. The industrial carbon tax, by the way, is still in place. Turning to the campaign trail, the Liberals have now announced their housing strategy.
We have solved a housing crisis before in our past. We can solve the housing crisis now.
Liberal leader Mark Carney is promising to double the number of homes built every year in Canada to almost 500,000. And to do that, Mark Carney says a Liberal government will create an entity called Build Canada Homes that would act as a developer of affordable housing.
Our plan would help 3.3 million homes get retrofitted.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh also talked housing during a campaign stop in BC. He proposed a plan to retrofit 3.3 million homes in the country, and the money would come from cutting support for oil and gas companies.
With Donald Trump threatening our country with tariffs, we need big projects that link our regions east to west.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is promising a pre-approved national energy corridor. It would fast-track infrastructure projects to build, like railways, pipelines, and transmission lines as well. About 282,000 customers are still without power across parts of Ontario this morning, 3 days after that wicked ice storm, and now more ice is on the way.
Watching a slow motion train wreck, because it happened over about 48 hours, just crash, boom, crash, boom, crash, boom.
Most of the power outages are in and around Peterborough, Aurelia, Barrie. Hydro One is warning some people closer to Georgian Bay might not have hydro again until Friday. Warming centers are open in Aurelia and Tay townships, which are some of the hardest hit areas. Aurelia, Peterborough, Tay, and Oro-Medonte are all still under states of emergency. Some schools in these regions are staying closed for another day as well. Police in New Brunswick are looking into a wild night at the rink where fights broke out on the ice, in the stands during a senior league hockey game. Okay. This is wild. This happened Friday night when Miramichi hosted LC Pogtog in Game 6 of the Beauchageur Senior Hockey League Championship Final. Whoa. Whoa. Guys, more than 200 penalty minutes were called during the game. 200. The co-owner of the Miramichi Hawks said extra security was actually hired for the game, but fights broke out anyway in the stands. Police say no arrests have been made yet, but charges are still possible. Big fines and long suspensions also likely coming. The league says it won't comment further until final decisions are made. Tomorrow is U.S. President Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day, where he may or may not unleash sweeping new tariffs, possibly on all countries.
They're reciprocal. So whatever they charge us, we charge them, but we're being nicer than they were.
He's expected to announce those tariffs tomorrow during a ceremony, they're calling it, in the White House's Rose Garden. He says tariffs will bring manufacturing back to the U.S., but experts say that will take years if it happens at all. They also predict tariffs will drive up the cost of appliances, groceries, and cars. 25% auto tariffs will also kick in tomorrow, even though half of all cars sold in the U.S. are assembled abroad. Hooters has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the U.S., but its owners say they aren't going anywhere. They're planning to sell all of their 100 company-owned restaurants to 2 franchise groups that already operate a number of their restaurants in the U.S. Some of these spots could end up closing anyway. Chapter 11 bankruptcy, we know it's a common route for struggling companies hoping to solve financial issues through reorganization. The CEO of Hooters says they're hoping to make the chain more family-friendly in the future. Hooters has come under fire in recent years, facing several lawsuits for gender and racial discrimination. The Terry Fox Run will connect New Brunswick and PEI this fall. For the first time in 10 years, there will be a Terry Fox Run across the Confederation Bridge. Very cool. It is the 45th Marathon of Hope this year. The run is 12.9 kilometers across the bridge. It is one of 9,000 runs planned across the country. Participants can choose to start in either province. Oh, that's fun.